Good morning everyone. We are now ready to discuss chapter 2 and this video is 6th video of chapter 2. In the previous video we have discussed about the strength of an acid or a base, its dilution, pH indicator or universal indicator, and role of pH in our everyday life. Let's discuss salts today. First of all, its definition. What is salt? Salts are the ionic compound which contains positive and negative part. The positive part of salt is called cation and the negative part of salt is called anion. So, let's describe. Salts are the ionic compound consisting of a positive part cation and negative part anion. The cation is called basic radicals and anions are called acidic radicals. In a salt, there are two types of radicals which comes from the basic part and acidic part. So, in sodium chloride, sodium hydroxide, it comes from sodium hydroxide. So, sodium is basic radical, this is basic radical and chloride is acidic radical or acid radical. Like calcium 2 plus ion is basic radical and sulfate 2 minus ion is acidic radical. Silver nitrate, as nitrate has only one valency and silver also has one valency, so silver plus Ag plus and nitrate minus. Likewise calcium 2 plus and sulfate 2 minus. Calcium 2 plus is basic radical and sulfate 2 minus is acidic radical. Silver plus is basic radical and nitrate is acid radical. We can say that the metal part of a salt is basic and another part is acidic. Here is a question for you. Write the basic and acid radical of the following salts. There are some salts given in this table and you have to choose which one is, you have to write which one is acid radical and basic radical. First write basic radical, then write acid radical. There are some salts: sodium chloride, calcium sulfate, potassium nitrate, barium chloride, magnesium carbonate, lithium hydride, ammonium chloride, ammonium sulfate, strontium carbonate, this is SR, strontium carbonate, aluminum phosphate and copper sulfate. Do it as fast as possible. Next is classification of salt. Classification of salts. Basically there are 6 types of salts. We have discussed first 3 types of salt: acid salt, acidic salt, basic salt and neutral salt. So now let's discuss double salt. A salt, 2 salts when crystallized together. What is double salt? This is 2 simple salts which crystallize together. 2 simple salts when dissolved in water and after evaporation they crystallize together is called double salt. For example, potash alum and more salt. Potash alum is K2SO4, Al2SO4, 24H2O. Read like this: K2SO4 dot Al2SO4 whole 3 dot 24H2O. This is potash alum. And this is next one is more salt, MOHR, more salt. This is iron sulfate and ammonium sulfate. This is a mix double salt. Here is 2 salts, ferrous sulfate and ammonium sulfate. They combine together with 6 molecules of water. These molecules of water are called water of crystallization. We will discuss later in this chapter. Next is mixed salt. Mixed salt are those salts which contains more than one basic or acidic radical, either basic or acidic radical. So here in bleaching powder, the example is bleaching powder. In bleaching powder, calcium 2 plus, O2 minus and Cl minus. There are two acidic radical and one basic radical. This type of salt or these type of salts are called mixed salts. Next is complex salt. Complex salt and complex compound is a big chapter, but here what is a complex salt? The salt which contains, which when dissociates gives complex ions. For example, it on dissociation gives complex ion. For example, sodium zincate, aluminum zincate, sodium plumbate, like example, sodium zincate, sodium aluminate, sodium plumbate, like salts are called complex salts. Some salts contains water of crystallization. First of all, you must understand the term water of crystallization. What is water of crystallization? Some salts contains water. It is a fixed number of water molecule present in one formula unit of an ionic compound. Formula unit word is used for ionic compound. So, if an ionic compound contains water molecule, that fixed number of water molecule is called water of crystallization. There are some salts which contains water of crystallization. For example, first is washing soda. Washing soda contains 10 water molecule. So its name is, the formula name is decahydrated calcium carbonate. What is washing soda? This is decahydrated calcium carbonate. Blue vitriol, copper sulfate 5H2O. This 5H2O is water of crystallization of copper sulfate. The color of the copper sulfate is due to the presence of this 5 molecule of water. If we are going to heat copper sulfate, then this 5 molecule of water dissociate from it and a white powdery substance is obtained after heating copper sulfate crystals, which is blue color. After heating it becomes white. Likewise, green vitriol. Green vitriol is ferrous sulfate 7H2O. The 7 molecules of water molecule is present in it, so their water of crystallization is 7. This is heptahydrated ferrous sulfate. Next is white vitriol. White vitriol is zinc sulfate 7H2O. And Epsom, magnesium sulfate is with 7H2O. The 3 molecules here, green vitriol, white vitriol and Epsom, contains 7 water molecule. Next is gypsum. After Epsom, this is gypsum. This is G, gypsum. Gypsum, calcium sulfate 2H2O is gypsum. And plaster of Paris. When calcium sulfate is heated, it loses its water of crystallization and becomes plaster of Paris. Plaster of Paris contains calcium sulfate half H2O. Calcium sulfate half H2O is called hemihydrated calcium sulfate. So it is hemihydrated calcium sulfate. Potash alum and Glauber salt, as we see in potash alum is K2SO4, Al2SO4 whole 3 24H2O, and Glauber salt is sodium sulfate 10H2O, decahydrated sodium sulfate. Now, water or crystalline salt do not contain water of crystallization. Some crystalline substance contains water of crystallization. For example, if it is glucose, it doesn't contain water of crystallization like substance. So, all crystalline salts do not have water of crystallization or do not produce water of crystallization when heated. These salts, there are some terms related to the water of water present in the salts of, or water present in various substance, or absorption of water is related. So there are some terms: efflorescence, deliquescent, and hygroscopic. So start from the efflorescent. Efflorescent substance. What are efflorescent substance? These salts, when exposed to dry air, efflorescent substance when exposed to dry air, it loses partially or wholly, partly or wholly, completely, the water of crystallization. This property of a substance to lose partly or wholly its water of crystallization when exposed to dry air is called efflorescence, and the substance is called efflorescent substance. For example, washing soda crystals, which is called decahydrated sodium carbonate. When it is exposed to dry air, our washing soda, when exposed to dry air, we must cover the container of washing soda. Otherwise, it absorbs by exposing to the dry air, it loses its water of crystallization and become watery. Sodium carbonate dot H2O. This is called monohydrated. It has only one water molecule present here, so it becomes monohydrated sodium carbonate. But when this washing soda is heated, it becomes soda ash. It has no water of crystallization there. If it is heated, this water molecule also goes out and it becomes soda ash. We will discuss it in sodium carbonate salt when we discuss sodium carbonate salt. So this is monohydrated sodium carbonate. Now, next salt is Glauber salt. Glauber salt, as we can say that this is decahydrated sodium sulfate crystal. Decahydrated sodium sulfate crystal. When decahydrated sodium sulfate crystal is exposed to dry air, it loses all of its water of crystallization. Some loses partly and some loses wholly, completely its water of crystallization. So it becomes anhydrous. There is no water molecule present in sodium sulfate. So when a substance becomes anhydrous, there are no water of crystallization present in it. Another term is deliquescence. Like the efflorescence, it is the property of a substance. The property of a substance to absorb moisture when exposed to air. Some substance absorbs moisture or water from the air and becomes watery, and finally dissolve in the absorbed water. So this type of substance is called this deliquescent substance, and this phenomena, this property of a substance is called deliquescence. So deliquescent substance dissolve in the absorbed water, means dissolve in it absorb water and dissolve in it. So there are some deliquescent substance. This is page number 24. This is page number 23. So deliquescent substance. Deliquescent substance, for example, there is caustic soda and caustic potash. If you saw caustic soda, or it is generally used in our daily life for removing or clearing pipelines, like sink pipe, kitchen sink pipes, etc. are cleaned by adding sodium hydroxide or caustic soda in it when needed. And this is again another thing is caustic potash. The sodium hydroxide and caustic potash, these two substances are deliquescent substance. When exposed to air, it absorbs water and dissolve in it. Calcium chloride, magnesium chloride. This magnesium chloride, calcium chloride is soluble in is present in our drinking water, and this magnesium chloride, sometimes sodium chloride, our table salt, contains magnesium chloride as impurity, and that type of table salt becomes watery when exposed to air. When you expose it in air, it absorbs water and dissolves in it. And next is zinc chloride and ferric chloride. These are the substances which absorbs moisture and dissolve in it, becomes watery. Another term is hygroscopic substance. Hygroscopic, there is a difference between deliquescent substance and hygroscopic substance. Deliquescent substance absorbs water and dissolves in it, but hygroscopic substance absorbs water but without dissolving. So these substances are used as drying agents. Examples are strong sulfuric acid, phosphorus pentoxide, calcium oxide. Calcium oxide is also used as drying agent. So these substances are used as drying agents or desiccating agent. Drying or desiccating, same. Drying agent or desiccating agent. Now, here is a question. What happens when copper sulfate crystals are heated? Is copper sulfate really dry? No, it's not dry, as we know that copper sulfate contains 5 molecules of water. If you heat copper sulfate is when copper sulfate crystal 5H2O, so it is copper sulfate crystal. When this crystal is heated, we already did this experiment in previous class, in class 9. The copper sulfate is heated, then water of crystallization removed plus 5H2O. This copper sulfate is of white color. This copper sulfate crystal is of blue color. It becomes white when it is heated. When water of crystallization removed from it, water of crystallization is vaporized from it, then only white substance, copper sulfate substance, is left. When a few drop of water is added to this white color crystal, then again the color becomes blue. So this water of crystallization of copper sulfate is responsible for its color. So answer this question, that what happens when copper sulfate crystals are heated. You answer like this, that when it is heated, it changes into white substance, copper sulfate, and when 1-2 drop of water is added to it, it finally becomes blue. Our next topic is sodium chloride, our common salt. From this common salt, sodium chloride, commonly called rock salt, because it is obtained from the rock salt or the kala namak. The rock salt is of black color or some color present in it due to some impurities. So from this common salt, we can prepare all these substance, all these compounds. From this common salt, we can prepare sodium hydroxide by chloralkali method, bleaching powder by passing chlorine gas obtained from the electrolysis of sodium chloride. We obtain from chlorine from it, and when that chlorine is added to calcium oxychloride is formed. Added to calcium hydroxide, calcium oxychloride is formed. So by this only sodium chloride solution, we can prepare sodium hydroxide, bleaching powder, baking soda and washing soda. We will discuss these method of preparation of these compounds in the next video, and their properties and uses. Thank you.